So then by the time they get back to us, we have to help to encourage them, to tell them it's okay, keep going, you're doing a great job.
Yes.
We have to tell them all these things.
Exactly.
Because if we don't look after them, encourage them, they say, well, if this religion is so great, where are they? Here you are, you're having this problem, that problem. Where are they now? Where's all this great stuff about Islam? You're in trouble, or you need this issue. We're asking these questions, and you're calling him on his phone. He's not picking up. I thought Islam had all the answers. Where are they now? And that's a valid question.
Absolutely.
That's a valid question. Yeah, where are they now? You know, these people get in trouble. It's one thing someone converts to Islam, but then you get the telephone number. Oh, brother Al-Allama or Shaykh al-Islam of this period, I've got a question. Yeah, what is it? Ask me, my child. And they say, yeah, I converted to Islam just like you said, and I preached the way of the prophets just like you proclaimed that I should. Okay, all right. So what's the problem? I'm homeless. Can I come stay with you? Oh, Akhi, I've just got another call on the other line. Can you call a little bit later? Oh, subhanAllah, every time you call back, the mobile phone you have called is switched off. All of a sudden, he doesn't have any time for you. He's homeless. Now, all of a sudden, the men of dawah and righteousness can't find him. He gets cancer. Everyone starts acting strange and weird, and we don't have any time for him. Or, you know, she has cervical cancer, and no one's at the hospital when she dies, and no one's at the hospital when she's losing her hair, and all this other. These are the type of things that happen all types, because people are coming in all different states to Islam. Someone might be at the end of his life, and he sees the truth in Islam and comes to it, and he's got inoperable lung cancer. Well, someone needs to be with him at the house when he's throwing up, when he might not even be able to, at the latter point in his life, go to the toilet by himself. So that means someone might have to wash him closer to the end of his life. But people are ducking and dodging it. Well, Akeem, my life, I'm busy. I've got to go out. We have to man the tables tomorrow for the stall. It's like, what are you in this for?
Then that's not the reality of da'wah.
Yeah, what are you in this for? Are you in this? Is this a numbers racket? If it's a numbers racket, go play. If it's a numbers racket, go play poker. Because that's a numbers game. Go play poker. Go play Uno. You know, if you really like numbers that much, okay, I'll give you a halal alternative. Go buy some Sudoku puzzles. Those are great for numbers. I use those all the time to sharpen my mind. Go buy Sudoku and play that. That's great for numbers. But if you're looking to assist people and to call to salvation, the salvation that's in La ilaha illallah, that's a protection from eternal judgment where the wrath of Allah will abide, to call to that, then you have to be willing when someone enters into Islam that they get looked after. Because people are going to come in and they've got all types of other things. The problem is when people go on a plane ride or whatever else, they always have luggage. Well, when people enter into Islam, they've got luggage too. They have a stalker that's after them. They've got, a wife that's giving them hassle, or an ex-girlfriend that's still knocking the windows out of the car, or children that are adults now when they don't like the fact that he or she's become Muslim, a workplace that's in their office where they work with haram on a regular basis. Oh man, now what is he going to do, man? There's all these things that you have to consider when someone comes into the deen. And they need your help. So you have to build on this. If not, if you can't do it, then don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can't be the one that does this, then don't do it. Because this is a dawah, real dawah is a blood sport. It's, people, it's for people to undergo hardship. People suffer hardship. But most of the people that are doing this stuff, man, they're doing a John McEnroe form of Islam. Yeah. They work really hard for several years, and then now I lay back and retire off my proceeds. They're worried about clicks and views and likes.
Yes.
And after that, I'm done with my job. Once I turn off my camera, I'm done for the day. No, it doesn't work like that with a convert to Islam, because he's not done for the day. He came into Islam, now he's kicked out. He came into Islam, he got fired from his job. He came into Islam, his wife says, I'm going to leave you. He came into Islam, his kids are crying, how could you do this, Dad? You betrayed the whole family. because some of them may come from cultures where there's hostility between Islam and like
Yes.
the local population. So now what do you do in a situation like that? What if he's a Burmese Buddhist and he becomes Muslim? He could lose his whole family. Dad, you betrayed the family. How could you become Muslim? Because the way they look at Muslims is not favorable. How could you become Muslim, Dad? You ruined the whole family. Then you've also got Muslims who are wayward from Islam who come back and their secularist families hostile.
Yeah.
So if they're from Turkey, I mean, those people, they're worse than a lot of other murtadeen, because they're so harsh on people. It's like the kid is coming to the masjid, one of our masjids, and said, yeah, my parents are making me eat pork, and they say we live in a new age and we have to follow this and that, and yeah, we're Muslims, we don't have to follow everything. He just wants to pray his 5 times salah. He's trying to pray and his parents are interrupting the salah, standing in front of him while he's praying. He went into sujood, his dad picked him up out of sujood and tried to stand him back up. These are real things that happen. People come back to Islam that are from Albania or Kosovo, and their local community is hostile. Listen, you remember that documentary I sent you where the adhan was being made, and the guy who's from Kosovo, who has a Muslim name, said, yeah, we really shouldn't be hearing that anymore. That was a long time ago. I don't like hearing that about the adhan. I don't like hearing that.
Unbelievable.
That it's such and such a year, and we're still hearing that sound.
Allah.
Now, what about if you grew up in that environment? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala awoke you to his deen. Imagine what you'll go through at home, at work, in social environments. No, I don't want the pork sausage. I don't want to eat. Wow, what's wrong with you? I don't want to eat that.
Yeah. So a lot of them, they live hiding their religion, basically.
That's it. You're at your front desk. You're at your desk, and it's 1:22. Excuse me, could I just go and take a break? Oh, okay. People are thinking you went for lunch, but you went to one of the back offices and prayed. Where are you going during lunchtime? Oh, I'm just going to pray. You might lose your job. You might get fired. Or they might give you a talking to. What's this whole prayer thing? What are you, a terrorist? A terrorist? What?
Yeah.
See, these are the real things that people go through. Same thing with the Bosniaks.
Oh, yeah.
The Bosniaks were super secular. They're now, some of them are coming back to Islam. But there was a point, if you were a Bosniak, you were just a Bosniak. That's it. It's not, so the Bosniaks were drinking wine and rum and whiskey and doing Christmas. Sometimes they'd even go to mass with the Croats and Serbs, hang out. But you know what? Then the Bosnian War, the war in the Balkans happened. And all of a sudden they woke up one day with the Serbs and Croats pointing at him saying, you're Muslim. And they had to, the men had their pants pulled down. They were circumcised. They were shooting the men based upon whoever they found that was circumcised. Because as we know, the Orthodox Church doesn't practice circumcision. So people are getting gunned down and killed. So now they woke up and said, man, what is this Islam thing? We're being killed for it. You see, something that they've been saying just on their lips, now they have to abide by it because people are killing them. Makes them think about it now. And it's one of the things that I thought was so poignant in the novel written by Zlata Filopovic, her Bosnian Diaries, because she kept a diary during the whole Balkans period. Her name is Zlata Filopovic, and she kept an entire diary. I read that thing cover to cover, and it was really powerful because her parents. I think one of her parents is Muslim and the other is Serbian Orthodox, and all of a sudden now there's arguments happening in the house. All of a sudden, there's people, there was one incident she mentioned where her neighbors got killed because they were Muslims. Like Croats killed their neighbors. It's like, yeah, now you have to wake up to the reality of what it is. Now, you imagine one of these people saying, I want to be Muslim now.
Exactly.
I want to get back onto my faith. I want to pray. I want to fast. And also now there's hostility. So it's not just people converting to Islam. It's people that have been far from Islam and wayward, wanting to come back to the religion and the hostility they're going to find with that. Some of our sisters are the only ones that wear a khimar in their family. They're the only ones that get up for Fajr. They pray alone in their room by themselves. Some sisters, it's like that. They're the only ones. Everyone's having a full meal in the daytime in Ramadan. And they got 2-3 hours before iftar.
Imagine going through that.
It's just there's a Muslim sister that we knew. She came into Islam, and what was happening was the family, she didn't want her family catching her fasting. So she said, yeah, I've so what she did is she took up weight training as like a hobby to throw them off of her praying and fasting. So she was drinking these, those pre-workout shakes, but she's drinking them at sahur and iftar times. So they're thinking, oh, okay, she's just into some, health nut stuff. But that's what she's having in order to avoid. And then after iftar, after she, prayed or whatever else, she'll have like a meal with the family or whatever else. But this is what she had to do to avoid. She said at one point I had to stop working out so much because I was getting too muscular. Because if you're drinking a pre-workout thing twice a day, you start getting big. It's like my clothes stop fitting. I'm getting too muscular. So I had to taper it down. But these are the types of things that people are going through.
Wow. It's like you say, a lot of people, they don't live in the reality when they have these fantasy thoughts about everything being so easy.
Yeah, everything is easy and life is just like how we say it is, and out of sight, out of mind. Sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes there are circumstances that have to be dealt with, and people have conditions that have to be seen to, and if they don't get looked after, those conditions become progressively worse.
Absolutely.
And it's an intelligent one that sees this issue and understands these people need help, but you have to see it for what it is, and food is but one of these examples.
Exactly.
Sometimes we burden Muslims, whether they're converts or coming from Muslim families. We burden them with a heavy load where there's more than one ruling. We insist that there's only one ruling, and that's ijma, when it's not ijma.
Right.
But we insist that the most difficult way has to be and should be the only way, when it's not. And people become overburdened. And they shouldn't be overburdened. Let people make their own decision. Well, we just don't want to confuse people. No, you don't want to be confused. Don't assume that everyone's at your intellectual level. Maybe too many rulings might confuse you. Maybe two options might make you have a seizure or make your nose bleed. But maybe Ahmed or Abdurrahman or Fatima or the other, it might not confuse them. You don't get to decide what will confuse and what won't confuse them and make that judgment. You're not marja. You let the people in charge of the ummah who deserve taqlid and ittiba, you let them make that decision. That's not for you to make that decision. And people have to be reminded of that stuff, because they start making these sweeping decisions on what Muslims will and won't. That's not your place. You let the people that are in charge of the ummah's affairs, let them make that decision.